Welcome to today's explainer for G9, General English 9, Unit 1, Lesson 4. Today, we're focusing on how to use realistic dialogue, descriptive details, and realistic characters to achieve a purpose, and how to use precise words and phrases to convey meaning. Basically, we're diving into the exact tools you need to make your writing and speaking literally come alive on the page and in the room. Here is our roadmap for the day. We've got our objective, crafting realistic character dialogue, using precise words and details, giving an informal speech, some quick checks, and a lesson recap. Let's get right to it. Section 1. Objective, master your words. It's time to elevate your writing and speaking toolkit. By the end of this explainer, you're going to know exactly how to execute these 3 core skills without missing a single beat. Whether you're writing a tense scene between 2 characters, describing a vivid setting, or just giving a toast at a party. These are absolutely crucial foundational tools for your 9th grade English toolkit and beyond. Section 2. Crafting realistic character dialogue. The illusion of real speech. So what's really fascinating about dialogue is that it actually shouldn't be a perfectly realistic transcript of how people talk. Think about it. If you were to record a real-life conversation and type it out word for word, it would be a total mess. It'd be full of ums, awkward pauses, and completely irrelevant small talk. Effective dialogue is actually a cleaned-up version of reality. You want to cut all that bloat to get right to the core of the conflict. A really great trick here is to imagine your characters know they have an eavesdropper listening in. Because of that, they naturally speak in a slightly more intelligent, polished way. Now, when crafting this cleaned-up speech, there are a few common pitfalls you definitely want to avoid. First off, don't use dialogue just to dump background information onto the reader. We call this the dreaded "as you know, Bob" trope, where characters just state obvious facts to each other purely for the reader's benefit. It's so unnatural. Also, don't be afraid to let your characters sound insightful or funny. In real life, people say interesting things all the time, right? Just avoid making your characters sound like bland, one-dimensional caricatures, and for sure, make sure you aren't giving every single character the exact same voice. Okay, so a crucial point when formatting all this great dialogue is how you tag it. Enter a massive pro tip, the 80% rule. You should use this simple, invisible word "said" for 80% of your dialogue tags. Seriously, readers process the word "said" kind of like punctuation. If you try to use elaborate tags like "he vociferated" or "she exclaimed," it literally pulls the reader right out of the story. Save the other 20% for simple actions or words like asked, yelled, or whispered that actually support the character's body language. Section 3. Using precise words and details. Painting a vivid picture. Moving on from what your characters say, let's look at the exact words you choose to describe their world. To truly engage your reader, you have to ruthlessly edit out vague, cliched words. Words like very or great. They're overworked and frankly a bit lazy. Instead of saying someone is very tired, say they're exhausted or drained. Precise language manages the complexity of your topic and makes your writing incredibly sharp. By purposefully using telling details that appeal to the 5 senses, you create a very specific mood. You aren't just telling a story, you're making the reader an eyewitness to the event. Think about it. The rough texture of a cold brick wall, the sharp smell of rain on hot asphalt, or the blinding flash of lightning. That level of precision is exactly what makes your setting and your characters truly memorable. Section 4. Giving an informal speech. Speaking naturally to your audience. Let's take these concepts of precision off the written page and into the real world. Before you even write the first sentence of a speech, you have to define the context. Are you at a highly formal conference? Well then, a formal register like, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen," is completely appropriate. But an informal speech, like maybe a toast to friends or a quick presentation to your peers, demands a completely different, much more relaxed register. Take a look at this opening hook. "Hey everyone, I'll try to keep this short." This perfectly models the informal register. It immediately captures attention while using warm, natural phrasing. You're acknowledging the audience as peers, bringing their guard down, and setting a really friendly tone right out of the gate. So, the real game changer in this model, and something native speakers do totally naturally, is the use of contractions. In a formal academic setting, you might say "I am," but in an informal speech, you say "I'm." You say "we're" instead of "we are." Using contractions instantly makes your informal speech sound wonderfully human and accessible, rather than stiff and academic. Section 5. Quick checks and fixes. Testing your knowledge. Okay, Let's pause for a second and test what we've covered with a quick misconception check. Should you write down every single pause, throat clear, and filler words your characters might naturally say in the real world? No way! If you said no, you hit the nail on the head. Remember, you want to skip the boring small talk. Real-life transcripts are messy. Your dialogue needs to be a cleaned-up, purposeful version of reality that cuts straight to the interesting conflict. Now for another quick formative check on our speaking skills. If you're asked to give an informal speech among your classmates or peers, how do you kick things off? You want to drop the highly formal ladies and gentlemen and instead use a warm hook with natural contractions. Something like, "Hi everyone, thanks for being here." Perfectly connects with your peers while still keeping it respectful. Section 6, Lesson Recap, putting it all together. Let's wrap this up. You now know that realistic character dialogue isn't some messy real-life transcript. It's sharp, skips the exposition dumps, and mostly relies on the simple tags said. You know that powerful writing demands precise, sensory words that appeal to the five senses, completely tossing out vague cliches like very. And finally, you know exactly how to present information in an informal speech by adjusting your register, using a warm greeting, and utilizing those contractions. As you sit down to write or prep a speech today, I'm going to leave you with this one thought. What overworked, vague word are you going to ruthlessly edit out of your vocabulary right now to make your characters and ideas truly come alive? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep mastering your words.